Hi, all, and welcome to yet another podcast by Great Place to Work. Better Podcast, we call them. And this is a series called Better Podcast with CEOs. And I suspect that the gentleman sitting in front of me, David Tabone, the CEO of Tryfon Tseriotis, must be very proud and delighted to be here. David, welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Kyriakos.
And
Great to be here.
Before I get into the subject matter of our meeting, it's a kind of personal question. So I know that at least once or twice I've heard you trying to speak in Greek, and that
One does his best, Kyriakos.
and that was a heroic, I should say, and quite satisfactory venture. So the question is, how does a business leader, a CEO, feel like working in a different country, a company which used to be a family business? How does it feel like? And I do know that you've been in other countries as well,
Yes.
like Scotland and USA, New York. So what
Well,
was the
I think
experience?
It's challenging, it's difficult, you out of your comfort zone, but also extremely exciting. Yes, having to develop new relationships, meet new people, try to get as involved as possible in the actual culture of the nation. I think it's been very exciting. I've been here for 5 years now.
Okay.
Yes, going back to your comment about the speaking in Greek, I sort of did that in our first Christmas staff party, I remember. And since then, it's become a sort of tradition which I can't get away from as much as I would like to. But yes, no, I think very exciting times. Learning a new language and a new culture. As I said, getting out of your comfort zone and having to deliver.
Okay. How similar is Cyprus with Malta?
Oh, we're both island nations.
Yeah.
Both members of the EU. I think both nations have been, experienced being conquered by, various superpowers from around the world throughout our history. So we're both sort of a melting pot, of different cultures, I think. But we were still, as I said, Mediterranean islands.
Yeah.
I think rather easygoing. Yes. And very similar in that respect.
So melting pot, survivors, and I guess entrepreneurs too.
And traders, yes.
Yeah,
Traders. Yeah.
Okay, David, I have to explain to our audience the reason you should be proud and delighted today. So every year, Great Place to Work certifies quite a few thousand companies throughout Europe. It should be more than 3,000, close to 4,000. And every year, some of these companies make it in what we call the national list, Best Workplaces list of each country. Then Great Place to Work chooses out of these 3,000 or 4,000 companies, and those which have made it in the national list, Europe's best workplaces, 100 best workplaces in Europe. 2024. So Tryfon Tseriotis has been a customer of Great Place to Work for a few years. You've been doing the certification. You feature in our Best Workplace list. And now you feature to be one of Europe's best workplaces for companies with a headcount up to 500.
Well,
So how does that feel?
I think it's very proud. It's also very humbling, I think, and also I think it just gives us that push and inspires you and puts more responsibility on your shoulders moving forward. To always try to improve, to value our employees. I'll never forget. I think one of the first conversations I had with my leadership team when I first joined was like, listen, this is, our workplace, let's build a workplace where each one of us wants to come to work to. It sparked up interesting discussions, I must admit. But then I think it filtered down through the whole company. And I think that means, you have to listen, be humble, accept criticism, but it's, when you see that you get this sort of recognition, I think it shows it's all well worth it, and that's our team actually appreciate the work that's being done by each and every one of us, so. Yeah.
Okay, David, I've heard you using the word humbling 3 times, once in your email and 2 times today. And I find that very interesting. And I would like to hear more about this sort of statement, humbling, and you have to be humble.
I think you do, yes. I mean, that's how I operate. I think, as a leader, you have to be more of a servant, I think, to your team. Yes, to ensure that everybody has the right tools, the right environment, to be able to do their job in the best way possible. You know what I mean? And I think apart from setting standards, obviously which are non-negotiable. Yes. I think you have to show a lot of empathy, and understand that every single person in our team is different. Everyone has different needs. At the end of the day, you never know what curveball life has thrown at them. I think one needs to empathize ultimately in order to get the best out of every individual.
Okay. Well, you used the word and the notion, the servant leader. A and B, you said that when you had your first meetings with the leadership team, and you said that you wanted a workplace environment where everybody feels committed and has drive to come to work every day. It stirred up some conversations, you said. So this idea of the leader being a servant and making sure that he or she creates a great environment, how did that sort of...
How did that come about? I mean, as I said, I've had so many work experiences in life. I've had, been able to experience great leaders, also experience terrible leaders. And understanding dynamics and what effect poor leadership has on the whole dynamics of everyone's workplace and everyone's output at the end of the day. Yes. So, I think there's a very, very distinct link between, productivity at work and people actually being happy and enjoying what they do. So I think that's something that possibly 5 years ago when I first joined seemed like a real tall order, but I think as the results show, I think we're getting there. Never quite there. So there's always a lot of work to do to keep it up, keep it top of mind. I think it's great. So, as I said, a great recognition.
So I mean, Great Place to Work has a simple statement or a simple, if you like, premise that it's leadership behavior that shapes employee experience, and it's employee experience that determines and defines engagement at the end of the day. So we are fully aligned in the sense that it's the leaders that make the difference. And in fact, my next question would have been, okay, how should the leader behave if he or she wants to create a great workplace environment?
How much time do we have? How much time do we have?
Well, we have
I think there's lots. I think the first thing is just to be open, be honest, transparent with everybody. There's no secrets of exactly what the company's objectives are, what we want to achieve, how we want to achieve them, and listening to all the feedback that we get. What in order for us to achieve this, what do we need? How do we get there? These are the tools we need. These, the equipment we need, and also I think fostering that culture where everybody's pulling the same rope. No hidden agendas. I hate hidden agendas. And that's the type of workplace we love to wake up in the morning and go to.
Okay. You said the word, we have to be good listeners. I get the impression, and I haven't been to many countries working, but I have the impression that one of the things that as a nation and as a culture we should be improving is that we are not that good listeners. So the question is, how do you judge us coming from another environment? How good listeners we are, and it's okay to be critical.
No, it's not be critical. I mean, it's probably something that where both the Maltese and Cypriot cultures are very, very similar.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And yes, I think it takes a lot of focus and self-awareness to understand that you need to take a step back and listen rather than try to interrupt constantly.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it's a character trait we Mediterraneans have. Yes, and very, very difficult to get away from that.
That's true. That's true. David, it so happens that nowadays most companies host, if you like, or employ four types of four different generations. So it's the baby boomers, guys like myself, Generation X, which is I think 64 to 76, birth, and then we have the millennials, 77 to 95, and then we have Gen Z. So it's a pot of different generations, and quite a few leaders say that this is a huge challenge.
A challenge it is, but when you think about it, I think what Gen Z have done is broken down all these taboos that all the other generations always feared to question or to demand from their workplaces. Yes, I mean, is it wrong to ask for your leaders to be open, honest, transparent? I don't think so. Is it wrong to ask, to have work-life balance? Is it wrong to, have a demand a company that has a purpose, that you're working for a purpose? I don't think they're wrong. I don't think their demands that might shock previous generations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't think it's anything wrong, and it's something. If you have that type of leadership, I think it affects anyone from any generation. Yes, eventually. And yes, I think we need to thank Gen Z for breaking down these walls.
Okay. Well, I have to admit that it is perhaps one of the very few times that I hear a business leader in Cyprus saying that we have to be thankful to Gen Z, and I fully agree with you, and I'm fully aligned with that. And in fact, sometimes we need to debate with business leaders saying that Gen Z is they are very impatient, they are not loyal. And our response is, look, Gen Z is different, but we might as well get used to it, that it is us that we need to make changes and accommodate.
Dare I go interrupting you? Sorry.
Go on.
The trait.
Well,
we
are Mediterranean people, so.
I think it's up to us leaders. I think we need to adapt and our style of leadership and adapt to the challenge but I think what Gen Z's demand is ultimately good for the whole organization. Not just solely for them. They don't need to be treated differently. You just have to, I think, change the philosophy of the whole organization, and the way you lead people.
Okay. So, I mean, we talk about Gen Z, and another interesting dimension might be the way technology is probably changing the workplace culture, remote working. In this respect, I feel a bit old-fashioned, David.
You do?
Yeah, I do, because I feel that people have to be facing each other, have to have human interactions, other outside technology, and then it's AI. So, what is your input? What is happening?
I think COVID changed my philosophy on this particular subject.
Okay.
Yes, I was running a company that I had just taken over from my son's bedroom on a computer, for 10 hours a day, talking to all my team, constantly chatting, discussing ways forward, because our business still operated, obviously. So after doing 12 months of that, nothing becomes impossible. I think even as a team, we all become very used to, just chatting to each other and taking decisions. being present, physically present, yes, of course, it's extremely important. You cannot. I don't think we can go back to the COVID ways, where nobody's at work. Obviously not. But I think the ability of people. I think what's made organizations appreciate, and definitely myself, is that ultimately there are work deadlines in certain job categories that need to be met. And quite frankly, if somebody wants to do it at 5 a.m. because it's convenient for them, or they want to do it during normal office hours, or they're very good at night and want to operate at 11 and finish reports, and as long as the deadline's achieved, and next morning we're at a meeting and this presentation is being made, who are we to judge?
Okay.
When somebody should be doing their work. I think flexibility has become part and parcel of our lives these days.
Okay.
I fully understand that you cannot go 100% remote. I fully understand that. Yes, but I think there has to be, a lot of flexibility. That's part of adapting as a leader, I think. Yes, having to adapt to the individual needs of each individual. So.
There's an argument or a position, if you like, which says that if we cannot provide flexibility to all our employees, but probably just a few or a fraction, we might as well not do it.
I think, you take an organization like ours, yes, obviously we have to distribute our products, physically, we have to go to outlets to sell our products. We have to be there physically. In order to do that, we have to merchandise shelves in all the outlets. We cannot do that by pressing a button. So
true.
obviously not that. But I think there are certain office jobs that where a certain amount of flexibility can be allowed and should be allowed. I think. I don't think it's you can have a uniform. Decision just because one person can't do it, then nobody can. I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those who advocate this position is that you have to give, you have to be equitable and be able to offer this flexibility to everybody.
Yeah.
But okay. David, if you had in front of you a Cypriot young business leader who is about to lead a family business, what would you advise him?
I think it's not about advice. It's about how lucky, I think, how exciting, what amazing, challenging times we have ahead of us. I think the advent of AI is going to have a huge effect on every single business. And it's how quickly we can adapt as businesses to AI. And using AI as our partner, rather than being scared of it. But I think it's very, very exciting times. I think for business, I think there's obviously a lot of transparency, a lot of honesty. There are no secrets anymore. So I think it's a fun time to be taking on and and leading companies forward.
Yeah. Could you sort of refer to any specific challenges that a traditional family business in Cyprus would have that the leader should be sort of aware of and be able to handle?
I think with all family businesses, it's succession. Yes, that is always a thing, and being sure that you have the right people, ready to take the business forward. So I think those are the biggest challenges that there are.
Okay.
Always.
Okay. So my sort of last question is about us, about Great Place to Work, and I know you're our guest, but I think you will be honest and frank. So we do three things.
Yes.
We offer certification, recognition, and recognition is for the fewer ones, especially European ones. And the other thing we do is we provide measurements and insights. So what do you think about these three things?
I think it's just a fantastic way of getting feedback. I mean, this is all employees. This is all confidential. So it's a fantastic way of getting feedback from your team you know, in all areas of the business that affect them, yes, and how we're doing, and you know, it's not just about processes, but it's about behavior, it's about respect, you know, towards the individual. We get that feedback, and I think the most important thing is, and that's what's great about it, there are metrics, and they're you know, measurable, and you take action. And you move forward, and obviously the whole point, as I said, about wanting to create a great work culture is actually listening to your team and telling you this is where we need to improve, and focusing your efforts on improving that. And I think Great Place to Work is a fantastic tool for us. It has been a fantastic tool for us as a company. You know, so thank you for that.
In fact, David, we are delighted when customers do not just focus on the certification or the recognition or the celebration, but they understand that what we offer is a measurement of a key business driver. Because as you rightly said at the beginning, the way employees feel affects productivity, and that obviously, in one way or another, hits your P&L. So it's like measuring any other business driver. So the last question now. So
Another last one.
It's the last question. I promise. So. You've been in the Cypriot business community for 5 years now.
Yes.
So, if you were to say something that needs to be fixed,
something that needs to be fixed in the Cypriot system, I think I don't think there's anything in particular that needs to be fixed in Cyprus. You know, I think it's part of the business culture worldwide, I think, which is changing. Yes, it is changing. That there's more honesty, more transparency in everything that is done. You know, and not be in a situation, you know, where it used to be in the past, where you just you know, have no respect for your people or your team. I think things are changing. I think it's exciting, and it's great for everyone. I think. You know, so.
Probably if I had a Cypriot businessman in front of me, he would say that the civil service needs to start getting their act, you know, better.
I'm being politically correct.
Yeah, I know, David. I know that. So, David, thank you very much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me.
I think you should be very proud, your leadership team, and your entire staff, because being named in one of Europe's 2024 Best Workplaces, it's an amazing recognition.
It really is.
Well done to you. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tryfon.
Thank you.